I'm Sonia, and I help people take their power back. If you're interested in working one-on-one with me and want me to call you on your BS, my coaching information is in the description below. In this video, I want to talk about your thoughts and how you think, and how it is not how you think that is the problem, it is what you think. This is where the more you can understand and grasp and accept that you have been manifesting your whole life, and it is the way you choose to view and think about things, that is what manifests, you are going to have more success with this. The more that you can take a step back and be aware of how your brain naturally works and how you naturally think. Do you naturally affirm? Does it feel natural to robotically affirm? Like, what is easy for you? What is an easy way for you to think? Because it's not how you think that's the problem, it's what you're thinking. It's thinking that your SP doesn't want you, or that that job isn't going to hire you, or you're never going to find a job, or you don't have enough money, or you're never going to get what you want, or manifestation isn't real. That's the problem. Not how you're thinking about it. How you're thinking about it is how your brain naturally works. And there's nothing wrong with the way your brain naturally works. It's unique to you. It's like so many fucking things are going into that. But the more that you can accept you and know that you are not broken and there's nothing wrong with you, you just need to use what you got to your advantage, you are going to be so much better off. This video was sparked by a comment that I got where somebody was like, I fucking realized that I use inner conversations naturally. I'm constantly arguing with myself in inner conversations. So now I just need to change the arguments that I'm having. And it's like that is the fucking biggest shift you can make when you realize that you are a manifester. This is how you function in the world. You've always been doing it. You don't have to force yourself to do things in a way that doesn't feel good to you. At the end of the day, it's bringing yourself back to focusing on things being the way you want them to be. So how does that look for you? And I'm specifically talking about in a moment-to-moment basis, your life 24/7, not when you are using techniques. Because that is ultimately the thing that is the most important. Yes, the techniques are helpful, and yes, you know, especially when you're starting out or when you're going towards something new, the repetition of scripting or having affirming sessions or visualizing time is helpful to get your brain familiar with what you want to be true. But if you do those techniques and then the rest of the fucking day, all you do is bitch, whine, moan, and complain, some of that stuff may manifest, some of it may not. But it's going to take you a long fucking time to get there, because you're constantly choosing states. You're constantly in states, and you're moving in and out of states and realities all the time. And the ones that you most dominantly spent your time in are the ones that manifest the quickest. And if you're spending, some time thinking about things the way you want them to be, and then the rest of your day, so you do 30 minutes of, whatever techniques a day, your other 23 and a half hours of your life, what are you thinking about? I know that includes sleeping, but when you're awake, when you are thinking, when you are aware of what you are thinking, where is your focus? How do you naturally think? I've had some people be like, I don't understand what you mean by that. And this was part of what made me realize, and it was a long journey, but what started me becoming aware of how I think was a coworker of mine randomly asked me, they're like, okay, when you visualize, when you imagine, and I was like, what? They're like, imagine yourself at the beach. Close your eyes and imagine yourself at the beach. I'm like, okay. They're like, what do you see? And I'm like, what do you mean? What do I see? And she's like, okay, so she had this conversation with her family. It was her brother, her stepmom, and her dad. And somehow they got on the topic of visualization, essentially. Her and her dad could close their eyes, and it was like they were at the beach. Like they could hear it, see it, smell it. Like it was like 4K real to them, seeing it. And I'm like, yeah, that's not me. Her stepmom was like, I get like a picture of the beach. And then her brother was like, I get nothing. I don't see anything. And they were like, that's impossible. Like, you have to see something. And that was the first time I'd ever heard of aphantasia, where you can't see an image in your imagination. But all of these people are manifesting perfectly. No one is exempt from their point of view creating their reality. That's how we function in the world. And from there, I didn't question, like, how do I actually think? Because that was in regards to visualizing. I had this belief I couldn't visualize because of things that happened when I was a kid. I remember going to swim camp, and they were like, imagine yourself in the pool and imagine swimming, and because they do that with athletes. And I was like, I'm so fucking confused right now. I don't really see it, and I don't know if I'm doing this right. So I created the belief that I couldn't visualize, when in actuality I can. It just isn't what I thought it was supposed to be, meaning I should see it and it should be as real as what I'm experiencing right now as I'm awake, fully aware, and filming this video. But my brain still manifests perfectly. And it was when I found Sammy Ingram and robotic affirmations, when I realized that I think in words. That is the dominant way that I think, is in words, in sentences. Kind of inner conversations, but just like thinking in my head is in words. So if I want to think of things differently, I have to use different sentences, different words to convey that idea to myself. I hate my life. Like, I would literally hear that in my own head. I hate my life. Everything sucks. That's literally my experience. I didn't have to change that that's how I think. What I needed to change was the focus. I hate my life to I love my life. Everything's amazing. Everything gets better and better and better. The way your brain functions is perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. What's wrong with it is where you put your focus. The stories that you tell. Your point of view. Telling yourself that you can't have what you want, or that things aren't the way you want them to be, or that person did this, and that means this is going to happen. That shit. That's what you need to focus on shifting. So the more you can become aware of how you're naturally thinking throughout the day. Do you think more in visuals? Do you like visualization? Do you just think mostly in words? Stop trying to fight yourself and figure out what's going to work best for you. And if you can't figure out like how you're thinking, then just try different techniques from different people. Take what resonates and leave the rest. That's my biggest key. When you are listening to people speak on manifestation and talking about the law, take what resonates and leave the rest. And trust yourself that you're going to find the right information for you. But also comes down to forming the belief that you know what the fuck you're doing. It all goes together. All of it. But how you naturally think, you are manifesting perfectly. The problem is what you are manifesting, and that comes from what you choose to think, how you choose to view things. That's what you have to start to change. Thank you so much for watching. Love and light.